Welcome to the Core Women Podcast, the place for women entrepreneurs, authors, and self-starters looking to build community and gain valuable insights through expert interviews with women at the top of their game. Join your host, podcaster, producer, expert coach, entrepreneur, and author, Dr. Summer Watson, as she aims to inspire and empower you through these candid conversations. Lean in and embrace the journey. It's time to start the show. Here's your host, Dr. Summer Watson.
Welcome to today's Core Women episode. We are thrilled to have the incredible Jennifer Watson with us, a healer, high-performance coach, and breakthrough speaker on a mission to help leaders heal and accelerate their deeper purpose of impact. Jennifer's journey from a D1 track athlete and a two-time All-American to overcoming years of debilitating depression is truly an inspiration. She has since become an integrative physical therapist, business leader, two-time TEDx speaker, and international coach. As the founder of Watson Worldwide, Jennifer blends her expertise to optimize leadership genius and accelerate performance, no matter the environment. Join us as we delve into her extraordinary story and the profound insight she offers on living our highest potential. Welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you so much, Summer, for having me. I'm so honored to be here.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited for you to be here. But before we dive into everything, if you could describe your journey in one word to this point, what would that word be and why?
Home. And why I say home, Summer, is as a high-performing transformation leader that is always pushing the envelope to be my highest version of self, because I believe then everybody gets the best of me. I battled for years to figure out who I was, try to figure out how to get through all my junk, how to influence and be a better person, better leader. And what I found through my own healing journey is taking off the layers and realizing it was always there. My gifts, my passions, the frequency, I talk about this all the time, of Jennifer. And it took me this long in my life to do the things that I do now to help leaders to understand that I just need to return home. So if I had to give one word for a summary of my journey and what I'm doing, it's truly home, or returning back to home, to me.
Wow, that is a fabulous word. I think that's the first time I've ever gotten that word. I love it because that is so meaningful. Talk about what home means to you. Talk about how you got back there. Your journey as a D1 track athlete to a healer and high performance coach is remarkable. Share how you got back to home and some of those pivotal moments that shaped this transformation.
Thank you for that question. I think it's such a powerful question because I work with so many leaders on this, because they're like, I don't know who I am. I don't know what my identity is anymore. I just want to be me again. And I always say, well, it requires you to go back to home, to go back to what makes you feel good about your expression and your vitality and who you really are. And my whole journey, as I've come full circle, is I think back when the first time I felt I was home. Like, I think about going to my grandparents' house for Thanksgiving or birthday parties or on vacation where I didn't have to prove anything to anyone. I remember how I felt as a kid, and I was goofy and I was witty and I was powerful and I was strong and I was emotional and all these things that made up me. But I also was a person that loved to be good at things, to master things, to be high performing. And what started to happen is, because I was so good at things at a young age, I started getting so many accolades and pressures to continue doing well at certain things, including sports. And that was one of my meal tickets to the University of Wisconsin, where I ran. And I started connecting not only my worth to performance, because I was getting so many claps, but also I started finding myself quiet, the little girl, quiet the home, quiet the parts that I loved about me, and doing what everybody I thought told me I needed to do to become the best person, my highest potential self. I started losing my own inner wisdom, my own intuition, going back to the little girl that loved all the things about her. And I started melting into what the world needed. And that's where I meet leaders where they're at right now. I find a lot of leaders have a similar journey to mine, that they loved all these giftings, they're natural parts of them, and they started like morphing into performance because they love to perform and master things and doing things for other people or what they thought was expected of them instead of for themselves. So high performance became very distorted for me, especially as I accelerated in track and became a two-time All-American and took that even into PT school. And then ultimately, before I started my first PT practice is when I had my come to Jesus moment that many of us have. And I've had many come to Jesus moments, you guys. But the first big one for me was like, I'm really successful, quote, right now. Business, money, all the things on the outside, you guys. I was living the dream, so to speak, but I was the typical stereotype of behind closed doors, self imploding, having struggles with anxiety, depression, feeling I had to do the next best thing to get the hit for someone to like give me accolades, but I was just going further into quote debt. And thus I had to come to Jesus. Like, it's got to feel better than this. It's got to feel good to do what I'm supposed to be doing in this world than how I feel right now, mentally, physically, emotionally. And I remember at that come to Jesus moment, I remember my mom called for one, and I was able to step into how bad I was doing. But number two, I realized something at that point. The little girl saying, me, I'm here. I remember feeling like, why am I thinking of myself during childhood going home? And thus began my journey toward healing myself, mind, body, soul, wellness. And it ultimately catapulted the frameworks of how I started working with people to heal themselves and go home in my PT practices, in my brick and mortars. And now how I've transitioned into coaching, consulting, and speaking today is that if you want to create epicness, impact, profit, have a deeply fulfilling and abundant life in all aspects of your life, it requires a lot of us higher level leaders and performers to go back to home, to delayer that, to break through the pain and the wound of not having what we used to have and rewire our behavior, our alignments, our behaviors, our thoughts, our words, our deeds to the things that we truly are. And you guys, when you do that, when you are able to go back home and align your life with the truest self, I call it your highest frequency self, game over. I truly believe it's the key in many ways to living your, people call it unstoppable life, deeply fulfilling life, peaceful life, getting everything you want life. You name whatever you want to name it, you guys, but until you go home. And there's frameworks to learn that. I had to learn my way too to get there and start from there and then expand on that. You won't get what you want, or you will. Making that step of desiring to go back to who you truly are is the first step, I believe, in giving your best version, your truest version to the world.
Wow, that is powerful. You mentioned what home means to you and how meaningful that was. But you could hear that little voice, that little girl saying, go back home, where many people keep running forward and running and running and doing and doing. You're literally a runner, right? And yet there was a moment where you did stop. You quieted yourself.
Yes.
So you could hear that voice, that
Yes.
inner knowing, that little girl.
Yes.
That's amazing because as a runner, you are creating dopamine, serotonin in your body. So you always had that high level need for that feeling of exhilaration, that feeling of energy. So to stop and quiet yourself was probably a big deal.
Oh,
Was
it's huge.
probably a huge challenge.
And honestly, Summer, I'm going to be honest with you, even during my struggle with depression, what was kind of meeting its peak in college, going into PT school, I had moments of coming home. And when I look back, when I was like, forget it, I don't care what people think, I'm just going to go out there and have fun, go back to the goofy gym. I have to tell you, those are the times I became an All-American, when I had personal records. So I had these peppering moments of it. And then when I started connecting the dots, I started realizing that I was a better leader. I was a team captain for my team when I started not trying to look tough all the time and suppress my emotions because I thought that's the kind of leader I need to be, versus being authentically me. Like, I'm struggling today, you guys. It created bigger connection with my team. I really want you to know, I'm a high performer. I love to master my craft. But what I shifted it into is not only going home, but mastery for mastery's sake, for growth sake of me. And when I put it on me, It allowed me to put it on everyone else and impact them in more powerful ways and get honest and real in how I was leading my team, get honest and real on how I wanted to show up and master things. And when I started actually putting the dots together, it was happening throughout my life. But now it's like, okay, how can I do this consistently? It started by going back home. And then from there, this is where coaching support helped me. And I help leaders now shift through the emotional noise of old trauma, old beliefs that we have to be a certain way, family dynamics that made us kind of look at things a certain way, start peeling the onion, so to speak, and shifting into emotional states that work for you and not against you. Then from there, I teach so many people to expand this frequency of you, your giftings, your core values, and how to stay in integrity with your leadership genius. And when you do that consistently, when life gets lifey, you guys, you have this anchor in you now. I teach a lot on chemistry resilience. My second TEDx is coming out on that, on the chemistry of that and how you increase your capacity and capability. And a lot of it starts with what I just said, going home back to your true north, shifting your emotional state, getting out of that weeds and back into your lane so you can actually be in your fullest version, strongest self. So when life gets lifey and stressors come at you big and small, you're staying anchored to your true north, and you can actually create a lot of success from that space, even during hard times. So you guys, the power of this in my journey, and it has helped me develop frameworks for my clients, not just the certifications I've taken, but my own journey in figuring this out. Getting back home, shifting your emotional state, delayering some of these noises and beliefs and behaviors that are clouding our ability to show up fully. And when you show up fully, you guys, again, game over. You become resilient when life gets life. And we all know that happens. And what's happening to our world right now, I truly believe my biggest passion right now, Summer, is to help a million leaders heal, shift their mental emotional state, and step back home into their highest frequency, their truest self, so they can lead with impact their gifting that they want to give to the world for good. There's a lot of hurt going on in the world right now. You guys turn on your television or your phone. We all see it. But if we individually do what I'm talking about, this is why I'm so passionate about it. And that is my goal. You guys, that is my mission, to help support a million leaders to get what I'm talking about. And I believe that's going to give you the next level leadership you need to lead your impact. And I know it's for good to the world. We need you. We need you to come back home in your unique frequency, which, by the way, I'm an identical twin. I have someone that has a blueprint 99.9% like mine, and we still have different paths and different frequencies in different homes.
Yeah.
You guys, go back to yours, and I guarantee you, getting the right frameworks to do that, to move out of your noise, move out of your trauma, heal that stuff, and get back into your frequency and a healthy connection to performance and impact for the world, you will make a difference at an accelerated level, even during hard times where resilience is needed.
Okay. Boom. Huge mic drop. That was awesome. I know where your passion lies in helping those millions of people. So you got it. You know it. Getting these people back to home, their true North Star. As you're talking, I'm thinking taking it home for true leadership. And what does home look like for you? Well, Jennifer Watson is here to help you to take that home. That's why she springboarded all of this energy, passion, insight, wisdom into Watson Worldwide. Talk more about that. I think you already have, but I want you to, in kind of a nutshell, bring that home. Tell us more how you can help people, how you're doing that right now.
One of my giftings is speaking. I say that because a lot of people are afraid. It's like the number one fear they say over death is public speaking. And the reason why I mention that, whether you're a speaker or not, we are all communicating and speaking our truth or not every day as leaders. And my biggest desire with Watson Worldwide is to allow the leader to understand that their voice, their message, their communication of that message matters. And to stand in courage, to stand in grace in that courage, to speak your truth as the leader that you are and the vision of impact that you're giving to the world. And that requires three things of you, dear leaders. And that's what my speaking is about. That is what my coaching is about. That is what my consulting and workshops is about. And what are those three things, you guys? Number one, to be able to consistently shift your mental, emotional state and create a healthy, bigger, expanded resilience during growth, change, and adversity that you're leading with your impact. Number two, it requires you to consistently step in your truth, lead it with integrity and sustainability in your frequency, in your gifting every single day, no matter how that looks like. And every day is going to be different. And third, it requires you to be able to be in a flow state of your performance, not high performance, flow state. Flow state means that you, your team, your community that you're influencing are able to be contagious with you because you're in your flow, everyone. Everyone has a unique flow to them. And when you're in that high performance flow, you create huge impact, more money, and have a lot of high vitality doing it. So if you can do those three things, you guys, this is going to help you lead, and everybody's going to follow you and do the same. They want to shift their emotional state and have higher resilience. They want to lead with their frequency and truth. They want to be high performance and quality in their life. And those three umbrellas, I truly believe when we target that, everything else comes along for the ride. And then the final piece that I do as a mastermind in my Watson Worldwide is being a higher level of influence in this world that needs your gifting. We have a fast-paced world, you guys. There's a lot of good stuff happening every day and a lot of hard stuff happening every day. There is a lot of things that we're having to adapt and change and grow with. If you're not a powerful influencer as the leader that you are, you will get lost in translation. And my mastermind is all about taking everything we just talked about, my three pillars, and going even higher level in a world that is very fast paced, and you want to be the highest paced noise out there to lead people powerfully. So that's what my company is about. And it does start with you going back home, but shifting your mental emotional state, creating a resilience when life gets lifey and change and growth happens, getting and stepping into your leadership frequency and leading with integrity in that. And third, flow state for you and your team so you can actually do things with vitality and energy, and put a little bow tied up on the knot on that. And I'm going to tell you, being a higher influencer will make all that a lot easier as well. So that is what we are about in my program and the people I lead and the team that is behind me on this. And I'm so excited to continue to give it to the world and elevate it and continue to elevate it even higher, depending on what people need, because I want you guys to live your maximal life as a leader that you are.
Jennifer, you have touched on so many things here, from going back home, being in your flow state. I love that, by the way. That's phenomenal. I love the way that feels, the way it sounds. It's not high performance, not low performance. It's your flow state.
Yeah.
It's your process. I love that you talked about your three pillars. That gives a really clear foundation about what your program is all about. Watson Worldwide. You're a TEDx speaker. You spoke on being a speaker. If you haven't watched her TEDx, when's the next TEDx?
The second TEDx I just completed in April, but it should be coming out this month, and I will keep you all notified. I'm so excited about it. It's on the chemistry of resilience to increase capacity and capability to not only feel healthy during hard times or growth and change, but actually accelerate your results. I'm truly excited. We have 3 different bullet points on there that you guys can use right away that is science-based and using the brilliance, I talk about this all the time, of your mind and body. But yes, that will be coming out, and I'll give you guys, information on that. And I'd be more than happy to connect with you on just this information we've given you, because that's a lot that I've given you. But no, it's easier said than done. Okay. And that it does take support sometimes, but it's also very simplistic. And when we get support, we're always going to get to that next level more powerfully. So I'm a huge believer in that.
I absolutely love this, because what you're talking about here and where people can really connect with you is, yes, these are great tips. It's just like we have applications such as Canva, and we use Canva, but it's not the same as having a graphic designer in your court. I work with my partner. She's a graphic designer, and she's like, I love Canva. But when you see some of the things that are created, people aren't understanding the value, the reflection, the brand, the other things that they're creating that are going to justify what they're doing or who they are. That's why when you work with somebody like Jennifer Watson, you're getting that person in your court who's going to help you return return to home, your flow state, understand it better, and your own pillars. And then here's the thing, she's absolutely right. Once you get that and you're on that track, it's going to make you more honest, more real, more authentic. And guess what that leads to? Connection.
Yes.
Higher vibrational frequency.
So many business leaders that have all the systems. And by the way, you guys, systems are important. Getting the strategy for your business and your impact is important, but they're like, I'm still struggling. And you guys, this is the missing piece that will bridge the gap that's there from your idea to making the impact, the profit, and doing it with vitality and ease. It's this piece. I've done it myself. I've spun the wheels with all the to-dos. I've been the recovering high performer doing 20 things and it's not working. This is the key, you guys, that will get you from the crazy performing, exhaustion, overwhelm, not getting where you want to be, to making it easy to influence and impact people and make a lot of money doing it. This is the key.
Well, this was an impactful conversation. We've covered so much. And as we come to the close of the interview, if you could leave the listeners with one tip to optimize their leadership genius, what would that be? And you've already given so many, but if we can leave them with one tip today to walk away with and be able to apply, what would that be?
Answer this question, everyone, and write it down. What is the one thing, if you could do it every day, and whether that's true or not, it's realistic or not, it doesn't matter. The answer to this question, if there's one thing that you could do every single day that lights you up on all 5 senses, you feel it in your body, it feels so good, it makes you feel home, that is your number one trait to go after. That is your number one trait to start being the big domino to all these other next level leadership traits, the frequency that's uniquely you. I'm all about big dominoes, you guys. I'm a healer practitioner by trade. Let's find the core and make the influence on everything else from there. And that's the big question to ask yourself and respond to. What is the thing, if you could do it every day, all day, that lights you up? Mine is speaking. And guess what, you guys? I've continued to fan that. And I've gotten clients from my speaking gigs, all this other stuff that works in my business that lights me up. It could be something personal, maybe dance. I love to dance. It doesn't matter, you guys. What is the number one thing that lights you up? And that if you could do it every day, you would do it. Write that down and start with that and finding things you can do in your environment to make yourself be able to express that gifting more consistently every day. And you'll start winning the game and becoming a more powerful leader.
Thank you so much for that tip. And thank you, Jennifer, for joining me on the Core Women podcast today.
Thank you.
You can follow Jennifer Watson on Instagram at the Jennifer Watson, on LinkedIn at Jennifer Watson, on Facebook and YouTube at Jennifer Watson Leadership, and at www.jenniferwatsonleadership.com.
Thank you for joining us on the Core Women podcast with Dr. Summer Watson. We're so glad you're here and would love to connect more with you. Find us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Core Women, and on Twitter at Core Women 1. For more about Core Women and Dr. Watson, visit corewomen.com. Want more support and resources for amazing women like you? Great! Join Dr. Watson and Jen Fontanilla at the Life, Love, and Money Collective, a Core Women production that aids in understanding the key traits that might be getting in the way of living a life that you are absolutely passionate about. Connect with Summer and Jen and find out more at thelifeloveandmoney.com.